It is said that the ether is the ever-present field that connects all things. Yes, everything is connected. Every inch of the ether consists of infinite amounts of free energy. This is the elite's greatest secret. If science were to reveal that the ether exists, it would destroy the entire foundation of mainstream Jesuit atomism and particle science. Denying the ether would be like a fish denying that it is surrounded by water. By no coincidence, ancient Vedic and Taoist traditions speak of and still utilize today this same exact ever-present energy field that goes by many names. Prana, Qi. The brilliant Wilhelm Reich called this field Orgone, and even George Lucas called it the Force in his popular Star Wars series. By no coincidence, his Lucasfilm logo features the flat Earth and dome with the opposing vortex lines within it. But that's none of my business. Many generations grew up watching Star Wars and fantasizing about how cool it would be to have the Jedi powers of the Force. But as we're about to see, we all do have that power dormant within us, or rather both all around us and within us, and instantly accessible through intense mind and physical training. There is an old saying, mind over matter, but this is a fallacy. It should rather be, mind is what matters, because matter is not atomic particles, and thought and mind come from the exact same energy source that everything physical comes from. Scientism and even many religions falsely program us to believe that we were born into this realm, like a termite or ant moving into a tree, rather than born out of this realm, as part of this realm, like a leaf or acorn growing on a tree. Western psychology plays the same trick by convincing us that our mind, thoughts and ego are bad things. Foreign invaders somehow bombarding us from some other dimension when nothing could be further from the truth. The so-called Matrix is nothing more than programming the false belief into people that we are somehow separate from everything around us, a cosmic accident, or born into sin, rather than a symbiotic space-time fractile of the entire whole, born out of perfect harmony and purpose, perpetually dancing together with the whole. Are we walking up the mountain, fighting a foreign resistance force through sheer will and struggle, or is that mountain lifting us up because we desire to go up higher than we are to have a look around? The truth is that there is no difference between the two. We have just been programmed not to understand this simple concept. We're two sides to the same coin and two wings of the same bird. But make no mistake, there is only one coin and only one bird. Back to the Star Wars films. Why is the mighty technologically advanced Empire so hell-bent on getting rid of a few dozen bathrobe-wearing Jedi who have mastered control of the ether, or the Cheetah? For the exact same reason the controlling parasites of this world don't want 7 billion people to wake up and figure out they are Jedis with access to the real-life powers of the etheric force.
This troupe of martial artists used Qi to perform the kind of stunts that seem beyond the normal capabilities of men. They stake their lives on being able to generate Qi within their bodies and direct it to the parts that need protection.
So the next thing he's going to do is direct the Qi into one part of his body, whack himself with a big knife and not get cut, because he's directing it into that single part of his body.
In Chinese culture, Qi is the energy that drives all living things. It is to be found in breath and blood and can be absorbed from the universe and compressed in the body.
Afterwards, he turned his back because what he's doing is he's getting rid of that excessive Qi in that one place, because if you leave it there, it's no good for you. The thing that amazes me about this is how they're improving their natural abilities. They're not saying that they can fly or anything like that. They're saying they can improve their natural abilities to such a degree that they can do these things without getting hurt. So the next thing these guys are going to do is show us this traditional exercise of sticking a pole, a solid iron pole in their throat to show that they've built Qi up there. It might look like a bit of a circus act. The reason they do this is to show that they can direct the Qi to wherever they want to. Yeah, they have to use Qi to do this because there's no muscle there. So they have to use real Qi, otherwise it's just going to skewer them. That's an iron bar.
气就代表了肾生水，
肾，
肾最重要，所以气会可以壮阳。Yes.
Okay, so Qi gets your kidneys strong. Okay, what I mean by get it up. Yeah, get it right up there. He said practicing Qigong is good for the kidneys, and if you've got good kidneys, you've got a good. And I don't mean a good upper hook either. That's the thing they just used on their throats. That's something you don't see every day. The next thing Mr. Pan's going to do certainly isn't good for your health. He's going to get this guillotine, put his throat on it, and have somebody hit him with a sledgehammer.
The Chinese guillotine, sharp enough to prepare dinner, designed to sever heads.
Do not try this at home. The worst thing is waiting, isn't it? You're just waiting to get whacked with a sledgehammer.
所以我们把气啊提到我们整个颈部的周围，把气锁住。
So he said it's all right for him to talk now because he brings up the Qi and puts it all around his neck to protect that. We've all seen bed of nails before, but this is a little bit different. He's actually going to stand on him. Not only is he going to jump on him, he's going to jab him in the throat with a sword.
这个就所谓的真正的气功，好吧，一般人3成的功力没有办法做这个动作，一定要练到6、7成，才有办法符合这个。对。
I felt that sword, and that is a solid sword. It's not one of those bendy things. Wow. He said that most people, when you're born, you've got 3 or 4% Qi in your body. You practice Qigong, you can get it up to 7%, and that allows you to be able to do things like this. That's unreal.
跟气结合。
What you've got to do is pack loads of Qi into your body, as well as getting rid of any negative energy. If you want it to work, you have to clear your mind and be completely relaxed. If you're hungry or thinking about home, just put it out of your head.
Okay. He's done it with the bicycle. Now he's going to have a go with the motorbike. He's got to keep concentrating now to keep his Qi in his chest. If he doesn't, it's all right doing it with the bicycle, but now this bloke's going to do it with a motorbike, and they're heavy. You know motorbikes are heavy. If he doesn't hold his concentration, this thing's going to puncture his lungs. Rather him than me.
Go!
Oh!
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
Feel the weight of that. It's got to be a couple 100 kilos. 没事啊。
甚至到眼睛，这是一个罩门。
到眼睛。
到眼睛都有办法。
眼睛。
对，眼睛。
是吗？
对。
Wow. I asked him, is there anywhere that you can't put Qi? And he says, no, you can put it anywhere, even in his eyes, his eyeballs. So I guess these skills would have developed originally because a lot of Kung Fu, they hit to the balls, they hit to the throat, and they hit to the eyes. So if you can strengthen up... Oh, you're joking, look at that. He's actually putting them right on his eyeballs. Oh, come on, mate. He's having a laugh, isn't he? So he's going to bend these iron rods. That is on his eyeballs. Oh. It's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal.
几只？
几只？
3只。
Wow. I'm asking how many fingers. 几只
？2只。
Oh.
试一下。Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
我喝一下。
哎，喝看看。哎
I just want to make sure that this is real beer.
哎。
气，把
Yeah, 把气放在就是
沿到手指。
Finger skill. He's going to put his chi from his mind into his
好，
fingers
手指。
so he can break a solid metal bottle opener.
Yes.
Jesus. This is how he practices this skill. 2 finger press-ups. Wow. That's a real bottle of wine. Chinese wine.
Yeah.
Tastes good. But he's about to waste it.
先要把气运到这里。
Okay, he's getting the chi into his elbow and he's going to hit the bottle and watch what happens. This is about transferring the power through something. This is how when he hits a body, the power goes inside the body and damages it. Wow, that is amazing.
我们原本里面就有气的，然后我本身把我的气把它融合贯通，把这个气挤压，让它产生一种爆发力，它才会往下爆开。
这样子。The way he does it is, inside there's already a little bit of air. Air translates as chi, you've got to remember as well. And what he does, he uses his chi, bang, hits the chi inside and it explodes the bottom. And that's how he does it when he hits somebody, bang, hits them on the outside, there's no damage as you can see. And inside he'll explode the organs. That's what happens to your heart when he hits you. 明白了，谢谢。That was hard Qigong. Now you're going to see Qigong lightness skill. This skill is so rare that most people don't even think it exists.
轻功，把气提到上半身，下面的重量减轻，包括把气锁在这里，大家刚好。
So he's doing 2 things. He's making his body light, so that's how he walks on light bulbs, and he puts his chi then into his throat, so that's how they can bend the spear on his throat. So at the same time as making himself light, that's how he can stand on 2 choppers, 2 big blades. He can have someone poke a spear into his throat. So even though he's always going to be 75 kilos, he's not going to change it if you put him on the scales. However, what does happen when he's doing it, when his mind is floating on the air, he's not actually standing on blades or light bulbs. If I was to try that, they'd just smash to pieces, wouldn't they?
好，那我现在介绍你我们气功里面最高难度的一种表演。
好的。
好，那开始。
Okay. He's going to show us now the most difficult and most dangerous Qigong demonstration. Despite a lifetime of training and experience, Mr. Pan doesn't perform these stunts too often because he believes that too much Qigong will leave him open to the influence of malignant spirits. Now, I'd suggest that you don't try any of those stunts at all.
I first met him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java. He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack. He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients. Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands. He called the energy Qi, and it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patients' feet. For years we followed him around Java on his healing rounds. pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yin yang, positive and negative, you know. And my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
it's meditation every day.
It's meditation that does it?
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. It's just like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker. He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how Qi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again. My brother Lorne never did, for by 1997 he was already dead when I again found myself with DJ, now treating me for an eye problem. But it wasn't this that brought me back. He had tracked me down out of the blue and invited me to tell me a story. He had just returned from 2 years on a deep meditational journey, alone in the heart of Borneo. Amongst his revelations, he had seen, he said, how history was moving on into great change, and the old wisdom was vanishing. So he'd called me back to film just enough of him to remind us that we all have undreamed of powers sleeping within us, and that there's nothing special about him except for his training in waking them. Grounding this patient, my cameraman Joe is having to use all his weight to keep contact. But Qi is pushing him away. He seems able to control the amplitude of this Qi, like a dimmer switch, and it causes uncontrollable responses in the patients and their grounders.
I can barely keep my hand on you. It wants to fly off. The electricity is so strong.
This mother unwittingly grounds her child. He won't sit still, so she's asked to hold him and grin and bear it. Sometimes signs of this passing energy can be seen in the transmitter too. This Qi stuff is only the surface, he says, of the real adventure beneath, in the meditational technique. Projecting Qi from the palm of the hand can also be used to resist rifle pellets, he says. First, you learn to distinguish between yin and yang Qi in your body. Then how to pool it in your navel chakra. Then how to project it, he says. And it's the proportionate mixture between yin and yang which accounts for different effects, like pulling or pushing objects or igniting them. Then he gets really strange. He says that mastering yin Qi is the key to the spirit world. There's a long tradition of Indonesian krisis being possessed by spirits. So people bring him their krisis to see if they're duds. Here, he says, he doesn't manipulate matter by projecting mixtures of yin and yang Qi. He merely creates a field of yin energy in which, he says, if there's a spirit, it can manifest itself. So I invited a small group of scientists back from the United States with measuring equipment to test if DJ was for real. And if so, where might this energy belong on the electromagnetic spectrum? Catherine Cook, CEO of the Mind Science Foundation in Texas. Dr. Roger Nilsson, a Swedish medic and international racing sailor. Dr. Greg Simpson, a physicist from New York's Albert Einstein University. And Andreas Polak, one of DJ's Australian students. The visitors are confident they'll uncover him as a fraud in no time. Greg is the first guinea pig, and he's uncomfortable about showing that he can feel anything at all. Dr. Roger doesn't know what to expect. Out comes the metal detector, like the things they use in airports, to see if he has any concealed metal in his body. Then the voltmeter, to try and measure the Qi. But how to get it to work? Where's the ground? What settings? DJ suggests that as his negative is his perineum and his positive is his navel chakra, perhaps that's where the electrode should be attached. He doesn't stand on his dignity. He's eager to help, but still no readings. They're getting shocks off his arm, and now they're on the right settings, but the needle still isn't moving. DJ says it isn't electricity, it's Qi.
It's 1, 2, up, I feel it in my whole body. I feel it at 3, 0.3, I feel it in my legs. Shit.
But suspecting there's some tricky setup on his premises they can't find, they insist we all go to a randomly chosen hotel room several miles away to see if he can light a light bulb with his fingers. It doesn't ground on the wall. So Greg holds and grounds one wire, while DJ pumps Qi through the other. The bulbs are LEDs, light-emitting diodes, which ignite in different colors according to the intensity of current.
Yes. On, off, on.
Brilliant.
Oh, you're blinking.
Things were going well. DJ was enjoying it too, until he invited us all out to lunch at his local, where he tried to push a chopstick through the table. He couldn't get it through the Formica surface, so he came up through an inch of wood from underneath. Not only did he draw his own blood, but a chopstick splinter had caught Alison here between the eyes, drawing more. The incident was laughed off apologetically, but next morning he was a different man, drawn and upset. He said he'd been visited all night by his long-dead master, raging that he'd broken the strict taboos of his sect, never to show off in public and never to cause harm or draw blood. He felt deeply chastised. All further testing and filming must end. Never again would he submit to public scrutiny, nor accept any new students. He would sink from sight and continue his healing in obscurity, as he had done since before we met him in the early 80s and had always told us was right.
Because it doesn't look like, oops, there's anybody over here on this side. Do me a favor and walk out there real quick. Michael Grubb, AMI. This is also with Kyle Lavelle, AMI. And right now, we're just getting an idea of what things will look like I'm trying to see if we're going to be kicked out of here, because that's the real concern. I'll be right back. Well, if the school is out, we don't have anything to worry about. Yeah. I feel like...
Should we just wait?
It'd probably be overall the smartest thing to do. I think two things kicking up over here for a minute. Kyle's asking if we could just wait till about 3 to 3:30. It's almost warmed the way I like it too. Almost. So as you can see, that's kind of a blast that I did. So as you can see, I'm pushing out really decently. Stopping it and starting it in the middle. I'm like go half paranoid. So I'm doing it kind of like right up against the spot. We could easily do it right in the center there if we wanted to. I figure this is kind of a good way of catching it, so when the blasts come in, that the only way they have is one shot down and we can catch it in a second. So it's really easy. Again, Michael Grubb from AMI. Kyle's right here. Say hello, Kyle.
Hello.
And so we're sitting here doing this. It's like, I think after 2:30, which is when the school should be out. I don't see any lights in here.
2:30 right now.
It's 2:30 right now. Well, in the interest of not getting our little butts arrested, we'll come back. But this is going to continue to build. Now, this is also something that I've shown people many times when they come out to the seminars, is proximity. So when you saw this first start, it was like that. And then I walked up to it and it started moving. Now, the reason why I know that this works every single time, which it does, is now all I have to do is just kind of start moving my hand back and forth. Watch. I'm going to go up and around. The proximity of my hand coming close to it And staying in motion will cause that motion to occur. Okay, so this obviously has to do with after you've worked with something for a little bit and you start getting good at being able to, now what you see me doing there is I'm pushing forward and then coming back, going forward, back, just to play with it, right? So I'm just going to kind of put my hands up like this. I'm going to open, close, see that? By doing it, just pulled it right back and drew it back to me. Now, on a day where it can be difficult to get things moving, you just got to keep using the techniques that you know. Breathing techniques. Stuff that has circular motion. Notice I started doing this. Okay? By doing this, creating a nice field, it's now starting to bring in energy. Okay, so you saw the build-up, a purposeful one. So now I'm just kind of playing around. Took a second of working with it. Now I got the movement that I want. Now, as you can see, it's now moving. And for all the people involved, let's go ahead and take a look. It's back all the way up. This is just my porch. Now, so there's nothing there that is causing that to move now other than, well, me and then the wind system that I helped to build in the process of making this video.